All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Pacific Drift Brewing Company, and they're out of San Diego, California, and this is their India Pale Ale. So this is an American IPA that comes in at 5.9% alcohol by volume, 55 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this is, but it should be relatively fresh, and that's because this beer was sent to me by a good friend and viewer of the channel, Earth. Now, I've made this joke multiple times already on my channel, but he is the entire planet, even though he's not. Hashtag dad jokes, hashtag sad jokes. But anyway, Earth sent me a beer mail a few weeks ago that included 4 different beers, and this was one of them, so thank you very much, good sir. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did, and you guys can check out all the beers he sent my way. So he actually sent me this one because he's like, this is kind of like my fridge IPA. This is an IPA that I pick up every so often. It's readily available, easily accessible, and I've never heard of Pacific Drift Brewing. So what I did was I did a quick Google search and some interesting things about this brewery. So apparently this is a brewery that it seems was started by Walmart. They are contract brewed at Mission Brewery in San Diego. It actually says here on the side, brewed and bottled by Pacific Drift Brewing Company, San Diego, California, a collaboration with Mission Brewery, San Diego, California. So I'm not sure if these are exclusive to Walmart. So Earth, if you want to chime in the comment section and let me know where you grabbed this from, I'd be curious to know if like this gets distribution anywhere else. But yeah, so it feels like this is a Walmart beer that, you know, they brew. So first off, let me just say that this beer is, I believe, only available in California. I don't believe it's available anywhere else. So yeah, I don't know. Now I'm very intrigued to give this a go because I had no idea. I had no idea about this beer. I had no idea about this brewery. Now I find out that I feel it's like a Walmart exclusive and stuff. Either way, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to give it a fair shake. It's just interesting. Interesting on the back story about this beer. Now, I will say all the articles I found were a couple years old, so I don't know if anything's changed. But yeah, anyway, let's give it a crack here. And we'll give it a pour into the glass. Oh, here it comes, though. Hang on. Here it comes now. Hang on. Good thing I saw that because it was ready to come out of the... come out of that bottle. All right, so I didn't really shake this up or anything, so that's interesting. Throw this over here. Throw this off camera. Anyway, this actually pours out a pretty hazy, like bright orange color. Yeah, that's bright orange. I don't know how it's going to come off on camera, but very vibrant and bright in person. About a 2.5, 3 fingers of a, say, off-white, almost eggshell white head. It's slightly creamy, but also somewhat soapy as well. Yeah, it kind of looks like a hazy IPA, to be honest with you. Let's get a nose on it. I always say if you're not inhaling the beer, you're doing it wrong. I'm always doing it wrong, though, because I'm inhaling the beer you're not supposed to, but I do. Anyway. Yeah, this actually smells... So I don't know if they're going like, you know, because this is sold exclusively in California, I don't know if they're going for like a West Coast style American IPA, but that's kind of what I'm getting from the nose. It has a decent amount of like rindy citrus, like grapefruit, a little bit of like zesty orange, but then there's a pretty big pine component to this one. And then there's like bready, biscuity, caramel malt notes as well that are pretty prominent. I'm also getting a touch of like an orange marmalade character. Now, the reason why I said I don't know how old this is because it doesn't have a bottle date on it, but Earth did indicate that he usually picks up a 6-pack of this whenever a new batch shows up. So again, I don't know exactly how old this is, but I would probably imagine this is not older than 2 months. Probably in the 4 to 6 weeks, you know, somewhere in there. Yeah, this smells like a classic West Coast style American IPA. It's nothing that's blowing my mind or whatever, but it doesn't smell bad. It smells all right. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, and thanks again, Earth. Yeah, it's fine. It's a solid beer. Solid IPA. I don't know if you saw condensation or you can see condensation on my glass or on the bottle. But it looks like spring has finally arrived here in Western New York because it is 72 degrees outside right now. And even though I took this out of the fridge like a half an hour ago, it still is warm enough where there's condensation. This is probably around 50, 55 degrees, something like that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, this tastes like a muted West Coast style IPA. So first off, 5.9%, this is straight up medium body. It has a nice medium body behind it, which is actually surprising. I thought this would be a little bit thinner. Straight up medium body. It's crisp. It's relatively clean, quite refreshing on the palate. Yeah, there's a little spritzy, effervescent thing kind of going on with the mouthfeel, which is appropriate for what I think they're going for. Right up front, you're hit with all those, bready caramel malt components as it passes through the palate. Zesty, very, very zesty, like grapefruit and orange zest. Yeah, it's just like very zippy in the middle of the palate. And then it finishes with this resinous pine, moderate bitterness that kind of just lingers on the palate. So I said it finishes clean. There is like a lingering bitterness, but it's relatively clean on the palate. Yeah, I can kind of see why Earth likes this one, because it's easygoing. At 5.9%, this drinks more like a sub 5% beer as far as flavors go. They're very subdued and mild. This is like I would say honestly, this is kind of like a beginner's West Coast style IPA. Someone who's trying to get into an IPA that isn't New England style, where you don't get a lot of bitterness and it's just straight on juice. If you want to go to the older West Coast style IPAs or American IPAs in general, but you're kind of afraid of, say, being smacked in the face with tons of pine and like zesty grapefruit and stuff, this is for you, because those flavors are there, but they're dialed back immensely. This is an easygoing, easy drinking beer. I'd imagine a 6-pack of this probably runs $8-9, which is, would be fine. For me though, it's a West Coast style IPA. West Coast style IPAs are not my favorite. When they're done well, I really like them, but in general, they've never been one of my favorite styles. But I think this is well made, albeit just a little bit subdued overall. So, rating wise, I would give this like a low 3.5, let's say like 3.4, 3.45. Stylistically, if you're gonna go West Coast style IPA at 5.9%, probably give it like a 4. I think it's pretty good. It's just, it kind of reminds me of like Sam Adams Rebel IPA when I first had that like 5 years ago. Kind of like that, a good beginner's, West Coast style IPA. I think that's pretty much where this lands for me. So that was India Pale Ale from the Pacific Drift Brewing Company. It gets a low 3.5 out of 5. Nothing wrong with it, and I appreciate Earth sending it my way. It was fun to try, and I'll be interested to know if Earth knows more about this brewery, but it's just weird that it's like an exclusive Walmart beer in California. I've never heard about it before, but cool that I got the chance to try. So thanks again, Earth, and thanks to everybody for stopping by for another beer review. Until the next one, cheers.